So here's an absolutely maddening story from Newsweek. FCC lied to media, saying net neutrality comment flood was a cyber attack. So, you guys probably remember this, but John Oliver did a show about net neutrality. And at the end of it, I think he directed his audience to go to the FCC, to the comments section during the comments period, and tell them, like, don't you dare get rid of net neutrality. So he did this segment. This segment went viral as a motherfucker, and everybody decided, yeah, I'm going to go leave a comment. So there was just a fucking tsunami of comments that were in favor of net neutrality and against Ajit Pai and the Republicans' attempt to destroy net neutrality. And in response to this, a little while later, the FCC came out and they were like, oh, there was a cyber attack against us and our website went down as a result of it because of these shenanigans and these hooligans. And, you know, then what does that do? That changes the narrative. The narrative was, oh my God, overwhelmingly people want net neutrality and they don't want to roll back net neutrality. They disagree with the Republicans. That was the conversation. And then all of a sudden the conversation became decorum policing and acting like the FCC are victims of some sort of an attack. So it changed the whole national conversation and the media conversation, I should be clear, because among regular people, we nonstop were talking about, hey, the FCC's fucking up the internet and they're going to get rid of net neutrality. But it changed the media conversation towards, look at these hooligans. I can't believe they're doing cyber attacks against such a noble institution as the FCC. But they lied. They lied. And they lied probably because they knew it would change the national conversation. It would take the heat off them. And they could portray themselves as victims. So what happened was, over time, I guess people kept asking for evidence. They're like, yeah, it was a non-traditional DDoS attack. And people who know what the fuck they're talking about on tech issues were like, say what? A non-traditional DDoS attack? And then the more people asked for evidence, the more they weren't able to produce any evidence, and it turns out they just lied. And they were like, yeah, no, we were attacked. They weren't attacked. What happened was fucking 99.9% of people went to that comment section in the comments period and was like, hey, fuck you, you're wrong about this, and you better not do it. And the only way they could spin the narrative was to pretend like they're victims. So Ajit Pai is a liar. The FCC is destroying the internet and trying to get rid of net neutrality. And remember, for those of you who don't know the details of what this is, when the net neutrality rules were in place, what that means is the internet service providers had to treat every website equally. So whatever website you go to, you have to get the same speed. When you get rid of net neutrality, the internet service providers become gatekeepers. And so they can speed up and slow down. Actually, what they'll do is just slow down access to certain websites. And they'll slow it down if those websites don't pay their bribe to the internet service providers. So it's a way to give the internet gatekeepers and to ruin the open and equal nature of the internet. And they're rolling out plans to do this. All they needed to do was get rid of the FCC rules. They did. And then now, you know, over time, they'll start rolling in these controls on the internet. And it's a fucking shame. And the most disgusting aspect of this every step of the way, guys, was that they can't win on this issue being honest about it. So what do? They spin it. And they act like they are in favor of net neutrality. And they frame it as, oh my God, big government is controlling the internet and we need to stop it. When in reality, those big government rules that were in place kept the internet as it was, free, open, and equal. So they can't win in a fair discussion, a fair debate. So they just lie about their position and they say, hey, no, we're in favor of net neutrality. And it's just so grotesque and misleading and terrible. So Ajit Pai is a giant sellout. The FCC sucks. And they can't help themselves but lie nonstop.